Hey folks, it appears that I am not the only one. Uh, Tomorrow I leave for Gen Con and looking forward to it. I think I'm probably more of a Gary Con, or I think is it North Texas maybe? Uh, Seems like those. Now I don't know really what I'm talking about because I've been to neither one. But it seems like those maybe are more OSR focused, or yeah, yeah. And I think that's more what I'm into. There's no thinking about it. It pretty well is. But that being said, um, I'm interested in a lot of games, and a while back, I gotta believe this one, Advanced Fighting Fantasy, I picked up on drive through, but it's right now it shows okay, printer US. Yeah, it doesn't show on drive through that they're printing it right now, so I don't know about that. But I do know that it takes forever, it seems, for things to get through print the print process at drive through, and it's like, well, I have a buddy at work. It's like, well, yeah, that's just how it is. But personally, that's not how it is with anything else I buy. I mean, it's pretty much, I guess that glare is right in there. Pretty much just them, Seems to take forever, it's crappy tracking or no tracking, basically, I mean, it just says it went to the printer, and then you wait and 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 wait, because I guess they're setting the type. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot to printing something, and whatever. It's just a minor rant, but I don't know. It just drives me nuts. That being said, hey, uh, I'm looking into where I live. We don't have a Kinkos, believe it or not, or I don't even know if they're in business anymore, but any kind of a copy place. I don't think there's one in town. There might be, but quite seriously, I might just start buying the PDFs and try to find a place that does that. I mean, it's not rocket science. I just don't want to use up my toner, and depending on the price, it might just be worth it to get this like spiral bound and, where it can open. But I'm not really here to talk about this. The only thing I wanted to check was Advanced Fighting Fantasy. Yeah, it has a dungeon generator with the idea of the dice drop system, which, you basically grab a fistful of dice and drop them and then make a dungeon. This right now in PDF form, it is on drive-through $8.40 because they're having their Christmas in July sale, which I imagine is ending promptly. Usually it's $14. And it's kind of a unique system in that, well, I'm not going to really review it now because this is not what I'm really here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is this dandy, the Adventure Creation System, and I hope the glare is not horrible, by Daniel Quinlan, Stuart Lloyd, and Graham Botley, based on the inspiration from Stephen Jackson and Ian Livingstone. So basically what happened was, I believe, Fighting Fantasy was started by these folks. Maybe they made the Advanced Fighting Fantasy, but I don't know. I should know. I do know Orion Games, which I believe is mainly Graham Botley. Sorry, once again, if I'm wrong on that. I first heard about him through Maelstrom because I find that an interesting story. But then I guess he also, kind of like took up some retro brands and tried to make them for modern play. So I think Advanced Fighting Fantasy is more his creation. Once again, I don't know what I'm talking about. That being said, I am very happy that I got the Kickstarter on this because it's a pretty expensive little tome. The PDF alone is $25, $60 for the paperback cover, and then $70 for a hardcover, and I think that includes the PDF. But it's also a whopping 430, well, 430 plus pages long. And I just wanted to kind of just briefly show this because I am going to utilize both. The one thing Mr. Botley, I believe, writes the intro. No, Daniel Quinlan does. I think this can be used for any system. Now, obviously, you're going to be creating your world using this book, and then, you know, you could use Advanced Fighting Fantasy. I believe that's what they intentionally wanted, but it seems like it would also work in other ways. And, it's kind of this layout. Chapter 1 is basically the introduction. Chapter 2 is using this book. I got through those chapters pretty quick. And then general guidance is 3. And, it goes through everything kind of covered in this. Playing monsters, using luck, death and dying, mark of death is a thing they have. Treasures and encumbrance, other rules and modifiers, difficulty level, and so on. Using monster templates, and it has, example play guide, create a hero, and then it has some heroes made up, and then this city that they created, and I say that, created, and then basically how their adventure system works and so on. Glossary of some terms, and then it goes into settlements and how to create a settlement. And I will probably make a village, but here's the crazy thing: settlements is all those pages. Now the font's pretty good, really good actually, very readable for a guy like me with a little bit of age on his eyes and stuff. So yeah. It covers a lot of social encounters, basically a pretty big engine for solo play, right? So a lot to cover there. Then it goes into dungeons, and I was wondering how they said to create a dungeon. If they just said to do the dice drop method or roll on the tables. I don't see so far anything about the dice. Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't read that part. But then it goes into wilderness, and it seems like then they kind of explain how, that's still more dungeon stuff. So like I say, if you have the original book, it covers the dungeon creation, covers wilderness, finding things in the wilderness. I mean, there's enough art in there that I think is pretty good. I don't know if it's original art. Man, it's a hell of a great review. But a lot of tables on how to populate the wilderness. Then it gets into political, religious, and social factors. There's some background tables for creating your hero, which I found interesting. Rumors and events. And then right around the villain area, let me see, villains. And there's the rumors. And of course, well, it'd be pretty amazing if I did find it right off the top of my head, but it looks like that's just rumors, but I think this area, maybe. Yeah, kind of has some tables to flesh out your character, unusual life experience, birth month, and effect of what month you're born. So kind of interesting, I would say. Villains, how to create a villain, a bunch of tables for that, and let's just pull through this. Missions, quests, and adventures. And early on, I kind of missed this. I was trying to read along, and I believe you just roll and it will give you the mission and explain. Like, so I think the one they gave the example of was, it's a starting event, starting mission. See, now I can't find it. Oh, it was run the gauntlet, but I don't see. Yep, run the gauntlet. So they must have rolled a tool 2 on the lust for power one, which I guess, yeah, it says roll 1d6, but then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 different things. So so you actually have starting events, and then it tells you. So if you roll a forward, you have lust of power, then your lust of power can explain some more stuff. Then your starting mission, you roll a 6, let's say, and then you go over to Mask of Terror. So then you would look up Mask of Terror, and it would tell you what you would have to do and how you would delve and do your missions and all that. So pretty neat. Let's see what else. Yeah, and it kind of explains the missions. So a lot of flavor on how you would complete that. And you know, this is where I wish I just would have gamed more, but I guess we'll all say that in the end. Yeah, so more missions and quests and adventures, Adventurer's Guide, which I don't know what that's about. Let's see. I don't know. But, and then adventure, consequences, rewards, treasures, sure, everything else. And then, yes, the people that backed it. Oh, list of codes. So that's good. Solo flow chart. Interesting. I might be on here. Let's see. Well, I might be, but I'm not going to waste the time looking too long because it's not in alphabetical order. So I think I did back this, and they asked me for my information. Maybe not. I'm looking. I want to say Quiet Guy kept to himself. Was put on there. But anyhow, I will eventually do a review of this. Solo player, director, and yes, like I say, Settlements, Dungeons, Wilderness, pretty fleshed out. And the thing I really liked about it is, yes, I tried playing solo, but even that's a big interest of mine. I like how they lay this out. I mean, yes, it's the size of a phone book. Back in the day, we used to have this thing called a phone, and it wouldn't memorize your numbers, so you had to have a phone book, kids. And yeah, you would go, this would be a city-sized phone book. And anyway, it kind of basically walks you through how to do it. Do most people need that much hand-holding? No. But I would think if you're new to this, like I say, wait for my review. Going to Gen Con, when I get done with that, I'll put this up. I think it might be a very good beginner, solid tool to use forever. And the thing I was going to say, yes, it's for advanced fighting fantasy, but I believe, you know, the monsters are pretty general. I think you could probably use any system. Now, he doesn't say that in that, you know, like nobody says that in the beginning intros, but yeah, I think it could be just a solo tool that really brings you into their world of, I want to say it's Atlas, or, yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about advanced fighting fantasy, but just wanted to get this out, put something up.